In today's video, I will be getting the Platinum Trophy in Marvel Rivals so that you don't have to, because let me tell you, this process was an absolute pain in the... Hey guys, it's Twisted and we are back with another Platinum video. So real quick before we jump in, thank you so much for the support. We are now over 300 subscribers on this channel. So welcome to everybody that is new. Now, jumping into the trophies for Marvel Rivals, we have a total of 41 trophies ranging from level achievements to winning matches and a ton of trophies for challenges with individual heroes as well, which honestly, some of them almost made me give up on multiple occasions. Now, to complete the platinum, it took me a total of 60 hours due to what I want to say is purely bad luck with some of the trophies. However, I had the majority of them knocked out in the first 30 hours, but I'll explain that when we get to those ones. So let's get started. Now, one thing to note with Marvel Rivals as well is that most of the trophies don't actually pop until the end of the round, making it impossible to know whether your attempts were successful until the round is actually over. This was super frustrating, and I really hope they change it in the future for anyone that does attempt this platinum later down the line. But kicking us off, our first trophy was a super easy one, coming in literally my first match, which was simply for landing a 3 KO streak with any hero. Now, I was able to do this using the Punisher, as he's a pretty simple run and gun character, similar to Soldier 76 for anyone that's played Overwatch. My second trophy came, and I unlocked it by accident, which was the You Do You trophy, when I accidentally activated the customizable wheel for a command, which is kind of a pointless trophy, but hey, it's an easy one, so we'll take it. After finishing that match, I was able to get the Thumbs Up trophy for upvoting someone in the end screen. Again, starting off really easy here, but trust me, some of these trophies at the end had me pulling my hair out, and I'm going to give you guys tips to get them done so you don't suffer like I did. The next trophy was our first character-specific challenge, and this one was awarded for landing 3 KOs with critical hits as Black Widow. Now, Black Widow is a sniper character, and while she is a lot of fun, her sniper doesn't actually have one-shot capability, so you're going to have to pick off enemies on low health or tag them once or twice first before going in for the critical shot. Next up for trophy number 5, we had Psylocke, a super fast and stealthy DPS character with huge damage output and an extremely fun playstyle in my opinion. She's probably one of my favorite characters to play in this game. However, her trophy isn't actually related to her skills or abilities. To unlock the Way of the Butterfly trophy, I basically just had to stand in the objective zone for 60 seconds in a single match. And when matches last about 10 minutes, this really wasn't difficult at all. Now, Marvel Rivals does have 33 playable characters with more on the way, and there is a trophy related to every single character in the game currently. So we're going to go through all of those throughout this video, but keep in mind, if you're doing this in the future and new heroes have been added, there's always a chance that more trophies may come with that. Hopefully it doesn't, but there is always a chance. Now, trophy number 6 came with playing Star-Lord, and to unlock this one, it was to land 10 KOs with assists from Guardians of the Galaxy. So anytime I saw a Guardians character on my screen, I would just hang by them and do my best to frag out. This is done easiest with Mantis on your team because her ability to heal you and boost your damage, she's usually getting assists left, right, and center for doing so. So that's another easy way to do it. Now, this one doesn't have to be done in a single match, I don't believe. I'm pretty sure you can do it across multiple. So this one should just unlock if you're playing Star-Lord enough. The 7th trophy is probably for my favorite character in all of Marvel Rivals, and that is Winter Soldier. Now, for this one, I needed to get 3 eliminations with a single use of his ultimate ability. And when I tell you this is one of the best offensive ultimate abilities in the game, I mean it. For Winter Soldier's ultimate, he leaps up into the air, gives you a large impact zone that you can then aim at an enemy team for him to slam down, damaging the targets that are inside the zone. And any enemy that does get hit by this ability then has a red health indicator on their health bar. And if you can get the enemies down below that red point shortly after using the ability, it then resets your ultimate and allows you to use it again, which is ridiculously powerful, thus leading to the Arm Race trophy. And if you do this right, you can use this ability like 6, 7, 8 times in a row, taking out enemies each time you use it. So it can really be effective, making this trophy a lot easier than people would expect it to be. Next up, we have Jeff the Land Shark, a super cute character in this game with a crazy ultimate as well, where he's able to swim under the map, pop up in a huge area of effect and swallow the enemy team, causing damage per second that you hold them in his mouth, but also allowing you to then throw the enemy team off the map. So to get the silver trophy called Snack Attack, you need to swallow 4 enemies in a single use of his ultimate. I actually did this, but I didn't think I got 4 enemies inside it. I thought it was 3 enemies in a teammate. So it could be bugged and may still count if you're doing this pretty soon after this video releases. So give it a try, and if this does work out for you, let me know in the comments. Trophy number 9 has us playing as Hela, who is arguably the strongest DPS character in all of Marvel Rivals. And all you needed to do for this one is land a 3 KO streak, but it did have to be on a specific map from Asgard. But I'm not even going to attempt to begin trying to pronounce it because I don't want the Marvel fanboys out for me. So the Asgard map is going to show it on the screen with the trophy. So if you do it on that one, use her ultimate ability. It's so powerful and makes this really, really easy if you can knock out 3 with her ultimate rather than trying to use her other abilities, which are still really strong, but I think her ultimate is the best way to go about doing this. Now, moving on, I wanted to go for the Might of Fushi or Fuxi trophy, which was the one for Iron Fist. I don't know how you say it. Don't come at me. The Iron Fist one, all right? This one was for getting 3 eliminations with his ultimate ability, and I'm sure you're starting to see a pattern here. His ultimate is a flurry of punches that actually have surprisingly good range thanks to his chi. Now, with this one, it had to be timed just right because wasting this on a tank enemy probably wouldn't have left time for 2 other enemies to be defeated. But I did kind of get lucky with this one that the tank I took out, being Penny Parker, was actually getting damaged by my teammates as well, which helped me get 3 kills with a single use, getting me that 10th trophy. A quarter of the way through our trophies now, and I am onto the silver trophy West Coast Best Coast for using Hawkeye. Now, he has to partner with the Avengers for 10 eliminations, and I honestly know that some people love Hawkeye in this game and rave about how good he is, and that is true, he is good. But for some reason, I'm just terrible with him. Maybe it's because I'm on controller, maybe it's because it's just a skill issue, but nonetheless, at least this trophy didn't give me too much trouble to unlock. I just had to help other Avengers take out enemies, which was great. Nice and easy for trophy number 11. Getting away from the character-specific trophies for just a second here, I decided to unlock another really easy one called the Master of Modes trophy. And all I had to do for this one is to complete 1 arcade match, which is a different game mode, to your quick play playlist. So basically another free trophy with little to no effort. But then after this, hopping back into the main modes with Venom, his challenge was to snare 4 enemies with a single use of his cellular corrosion ability, which again, just wait for enemies to bunch up, swing into the middle of them, and use the ability to unlock the Grip of Hunger bronze trophy. This one isn't super difficult, just jump in and do it. You should be able to get it within a single match, I would say, if you're doing this right. Now, moving to trophy 14, this was the first one I had a little bit of trouble with. Not so much as some of the trophies coming in the future, but it was the first one that actually took me a few games to try. Playing as Storm, I needed to assist X-Men 10 times, and whilst Wolverine and Magneto barely got picked in the early stages of the game, when they did get picked, the people playing them were just really bad, which meant it was pretty hard to get assists. But after a few games of buffing and following around other X-Men, I finally popped this trophy. Now, trophy number 15 came from just playing the game enough and reaching level 20, which probably took me about 15 hours if I had to take a guess, maybe 20 at max. But again, this one's just going to come from playing the game. Trophy 16 was with Penny Parker, and it was to blast 3 enemies with a single use of her arachna mines. For this one, I just placed the mine on the corner of a choke point, and as the enemy team rounded the corner, it was able to hit multiple enemies at once, awarding me the trophy. Now, Iron Man in Marvel Rivals is kind of a glass cannon. As much as he was so many people's favorite character in the Marvel Universe, in this game, he's pretty easy to wipe out in most lobbies. The big advantage for Iron Man, though, is his ultimate ability is a pulse cannon that is insanely powerful and has a pretty decent area of effect. All you have to do for this one is hit 4 enemies with a single use. You don't even have to wipe the team out, you just have to hit 4 enemies. So the devs kind of took it easy on us with this one. And if you don't want to use it from up in the sky, you can use it in a straight line from sort of ground level. It might make it easy with the travel time hitting 4 enemies if you're not just shooting it down into one spot. Next up is Scarlet Witch, and for her trophy called No More Mutants, it was basically to take out 10 enemy mutant characters, and this one took me longer than it should have because I didn't know who qualified as a mutant other than the X-Men characters, which weren't really being picked a lot early on in this game. So I did some research for you guys, and the characters classed as mutants in Marvel Rivals are Storm, Magic, Psylocke, Wolverine, Namor, and Magneto. Just to make it a lot easier for you guys that are going to be going for this trophy in the future, there is more than just Magneto and Wolverine. So you guys can take that as you will, and hopefully that helps you with your challenge. Now, Doctor Strange's portals are iconic, and there are so many ways to use them in Marvel Rivals. However, the trophies challenge for this game is leaned into this and made it so that anyone terrain KO'd by a portal counts towards the achievement. Now, while this is easier to place one end of the portal off the map and the other end in front of the enemy spawn, I managed to unlock it without defeating an enemy with terrain, so I believe it might have been bugged when I used it. It pretty much just placed it in front of Jeff, and Jeff jumped out of it and I defeated him, so I'm not sure if that was me or someone else or what happened, but again, it worked, the trophy popped. So the thing that, caused me a bit of trouble with this is that the trophies don't pop till the end of the round, like I mentioned at the start. So you don't actually know when you complete the trophy. So you can't actually switch characters mid-round. You kind of have to just keep trying to do it over and over again and hope at the end of the round the trophy pops. So reaching the halfway mark of our platinum progress, we are onto Magic, who is probably the most fun melee character in the game. With her portals and her wind slash ability, she really just is super well-rounded, and her ultimate ability just dials all of her other abilities up to 11. The trophy for Magic, similar to many other characters, is achieving 3 KOs with a single use of her ultimate ability, where she transforms into Darkchild. This amplifies all of her abilities' damage. As long as you use this when the enemies are grouped up together, it should be pretty easy to get 3 eliminations in this time. Alright, I'm going to level with you guys on this next one for Spider-Man. I have no idea how I unlocked this one. The description says detect an enemy with spider sense and land a winning counterattack, whatever that means. I don't know how the spider sense is activated, whether it's from someone being behind me. I don't know when I did this during the round because the trophy popped after the match. So my best advice for this one is just play Spidey and hope it happens by itself. Now, if you do know how this happens, let us know down in the comments so you can help everyone else out that is watching. All right, Namor, in my opinion, is insanely underrated in this game. His primary and secondary fire both do great damage. His Monstro spawns do really good tick damage, especially when they're in a frenzy. The Aquatic Assault trophy is given when your little Monstro spawns defeat 10 enemies in a single game. Now, while doing this is actually fairly easy, it's even easier if you do it with a Lunar Snow on your team, based on the fact that you get an ice-powered Monstro as a team-up ability, making it way easier to pick up eliminations with them than simply attacking enemies until they're low health and then letting your Monstro do the rest. This is super handy, and if you're either hitting a headshot with his primary fire or hitting an enemy with his secondary fire, it actually sends your Monstros into that frenzy, speeding up their attack rate, making it much easier to take out enemies. So hopefully that little tip there helps you with Namor. Back to our Guardians of the Galaxy, jumping in as Rocket this time. We need to use his revive ability 5 times on members from Guardians of the Galaxy. For this one, I just hung around other Guardian characters, and when I saw they were approaching low health, pop his revive ability so that they're defeated, and they are instantly brought back with Rocket's ability, thus unlocking trophy number 23. I think I did this for Groot like 6 or 7 times in the exact same round, so it shouldn't be too difficult if you're watching the right characters. Now, for trophy number 24, we are playing as Lunar Snow, and as much as there isn't a specific in-match challenge for her, it does require a bit of time to complete, because you need to finish 5 maps playing as her with different themes. So playing the same map twice doesn't count. Again, this isn't a hard trophy, but it does force you to play Lunar Snow for the best part of like 45 minutes, give or take. So remember earlier when Hela needed to complete her challenge on a specific map? Well, Black Panther is the same, and with his, it is simply a 3 KO streak on the Wakandan map, the Hall of Djalia. Black Panther is a super fun character to play once you learn him, but he is tricky at first. So if you guys want a guide on how to use him, check out my main channel for Marvel Rivals content. I will link it in the description below, and I'm going to have guides on all the characters coming out over there as well. Trophy number 26 was a bit trickier. No pun intended, but I needed to complete a KO by backstabbing an enemy with Loki. To do this, I just went invisible, snuck behind the enemy, and started hacking away at them. Again, this was one where I wasn't sure if I actually did it until the trophy popped at the end of the round. So just keep doing this as much as you possibly can and hope that it actually comes off for you. Trophy 27 was called Inevitable, and that came after winning 100 matches. Nothing really too much to say here. Just keep playing until you've won those 100 games. And Trophy 28 was our first gold trophy, playing as Hulk. And with this one, you had to eliminate an enemy within 3 seconds of turning from Hulk back into Bruce Banner, which isn't really that hard if you're in a one-on-one with an enemy, because most of their health should be depleted by taking on Hulk. So once Hulk's health is taken out fully, he does revert back to Bruce Banner. And at that point, you have 3 seconds to take out your enemy that you're facing. Next up for number 29 is Captain America, the first Avenger himself. This one can be tricky, so listen to me when I say this. Use his speed to attack and flank the backline. Take out the healers first and then look at DPS. His ult is honestly average at best, so if you're going to take out 3 enemies in the duration that it actually lasts, you need to be taking out the weaker targets. His abilities and his damage output is very mid, so you're going to have to get lucky on this one. It's probably going to take you a few attempts, trust me. All right, home stretch for the Platinum Trophy. Number 30 is Adam Warlock, and you don't even need to do anything in combat. For this one, just ask your teammates to pick the Guardians of the Galaxy characters for the first play of the game. You use your soul bond with 3 of them at the same time, and boom, you're done. They only have to help you out for like 10 seconds to be able to do this. And you have game chat, you have voice chat, you can do so many things to actually ask people to help you with this. Or if you actually have friends, then you can squad up with a group and get them to do it with you as well. For a silver trophy using Thor, we needed to strike down 4 enemies with his ultimate ability called God of Thunder. And this one, the description's kind of unclear. I don't think you need to KO 4 people, just hit them with the slam portion of the ability, the final strike. A tip for this one I use is to get the hammer to fly above the enemy team, then activating the ult while you're already in midair, which kind of gives them less time to get outside the AoE, and that should help you with getting the trophy for that. Next up for Wolverine, similar to so many other heroes, you need to KO 3 enemies with his ultimate. Yep, that's right. Another one where you just have to do the same thing. But the trick with this one is to ensure his rage meter is maxed out when you activate his ult, because it is going to do so much more damage for every percent that his rage meter is built. So if you can get it to 100% before using the ult, fantastic. That is going to give you the best chance to unlock this trophy. For me, it was aggressively attacking a group of 3 with his other abilities to build his rage. So I basically gave myself the defense boost so I wasn't taking as much incoming damage. I built up my range meter, and then at point blank range, I used the ultimate ability to wipe out 2 tanks and a healer. So you can see from this that his ult is extremely strong when used right, but the timing does have to be pretty good. Now, Groot's trophy is pretty easy, but again, comes down to timing, and that's the theme with a lot of these trophies. You need to trap 4 enemies inside his ultimate, so waiting for the enemy team to be bunched up before launching his ultimate at them is really the key with this one. At this point, you guys are probably thinking the trophies are pretty repetitive, which they actually are, so for Moon Knight, you have to hit 4 enemies with his ult. A tip for this is to throw down his Ankh to suck the enemies into the center of it, and then use his ult on the same spot. If you time this right, you should be able to catch 4 enemies, unlocking your next trophy. Okay, so now we get to the harder trophies, starting with the Punisher. I know I said earlier that he is one of the easier heroes to use, but the problem is his trophy is to defeat 3 enemies through his smoke in a single round. The problem is his smoke lasts literally 1 second. That's not an exaggeration, it lasts 1 second. So after hours of tediously spamming smoke and trying to defeat enemies through it, it's safe to say I was relieved when I finally saw this trophy pop up on my screen. Ah yes, trophy 36, Squirrel Girl. Defeat 3 enemies with a single use of her ultimate. However, this one was bugged. So when you were using this, the initial launch of her ultimate ability was the only thing that counted towards the trophy progress, so you had to get extremely lucky. Now with Squirrel Girl's ultimate, the best part about it is that it ricochets off walls and damages enemies each time they are hit. Well, these extra hits weren't counting towards the trophy progression. You had to take them out on the initial launch of the ability, meaning you only got 150 damage output to wipe out 3 enemies. I'm not gonna lie, this had me stuck for like 5 days, playing 2 to 3 hours each time, and eventually, with the last update, luckily for me, the developers fixed the bug, and I was able to complete it first try when it was working the way it was supposed to, including the bounces off the walls. So you can see my frustration with this one. Anyone going forward is probably going to have the easiest time about it, so I just wanted to explain that it was much harder to do before, whereas now, not so much. Down to our last few trophies, Magneto was actually really simple for assisting 10 mutant allies. For this one, I just bubbled any mutant allies that I mentioned before, and as they ran into combat, it kind of helped them, and I was attacking the same enemies, doing my best not to get the final hit, and this is what led me to get the 10 assists for them. So remember those characters I said earlier, Magic, Psylocke, the X-Men characters, they're kind of who you want to be aiming at. Help them out with getting assists, and you should unlock this one really easy. After that, I finally teamed up with a friend for a match unlocking the Assemble trophy, which, to be honest, I could have done way sooner, but I just didn't hit anyone up to play until right at the end. And that left me with the 2 hardest trophies in the entire game, because for the most part, they were out of my control. For not only Mantis, but also Cloak and Dagger, you need to assist your team with getting a team wipe, meaning all the enemies have to be defeated before any others respawn. And with how long the TTK in this game can be, this took me hours upon hours to complete. It took me probably 10 hours to complete the Mantis challenge, where just by chance, I had a really good team of fraggers and the enemy team was terrible. But when attempting Cloak and Dagger, it took much longer. With Cloak and Dagger, I was posting the same message in team chat at the start of every round, asking my team to play super aggressive and go for an ace. And again, what felt like another 10 hours later, I finally unlocked it with Cloak and Dagger, leading me to the Platinum Trophy. So if you're looking to play Marvel Rivals, it is an extremely fun 6v6 hero shooter. But if you're going to go to the Platinum, be warned, this isn't an easy plat. You're not going to be able to do this in like 20 hours. Hopefully, if you're going for it, this guide will help you. However, like me, I can finally enjoy the game now and play the characters that I like, instead of chasing these trophies for hours on end. Once again, if you made it to this point in the video, thank you. If you are brand new, feel free to subscribe and join the Platinum fam. And with that said, I will see you all in the next video.